You've probably heard this advice 100 times. Just let it go. Let go of the relationship. Let go of the failure. Let go of what they said about you. And maybe you've tried. You've tried to just stop caring. Stop thinking about it. Push it down. Move on. Act like it doesn't bother you anymore. And it didn't work. It never actually works. Here's why. What you were doing wasn't letting go at all. And the version of letting go the Buddha actually taught is almost the opposite of what most people think it means. Most of us learned letting go from self-help culture, not from any actual spiritual tradition. And in that version, letting go means 3 things. Stop feeling it, stop talking about it, and pretend it doesn't matter anymore. That's not release, that's suppression wearing a karma costume. And suppression always has a cost. The thing you refuse to feel doesn't disappear, it goes underground. It shows up as the tight chest at 2 a.m., the snapping at someone who didn't deserve it, the years later flinch when a song comes on the radio. So, if that's not what the Buddha meant by letting go, what did he actually teach? There are 3 specific misunderstandings worth untangling, and once you see them, you'll understand why the popular advice fails almost everyone who tries it. The first misunderstanding is that letting go means becoming indifferent, that a person who has truly let go of something simply doesn't care about it anymore. That's not the teaching. In early Buddhist texts, there's a well-known simile, the Raft Simile, from the Alagadupama Sutta. The Buddha compares his own teachings to a raft. You build it, you use it to cross a dangerous river, and once you're on the other side, you don't strap it to your back and carry it around out of gratitude, and you don't smash it in anger either. You simply set it down. It did its job. Notice what's missing from that story. Indifference. The raft isn't unimportant. It mattered enormously it got you across. Letting go of it isn't pretending it never mattered. It's recognizing that its job is finished, and your job now is to keep walking. That's the difference. Indifference says, this never mattered. Real letting go says, this mattered. It did its work, and now I don't need to keep holding it to prove that it mattered. The second misunderstanding is that if you've truly let go, the memory shouldn't hurt anymore. So when it still stings 6 months later, a year later, people assume they failed at letting go, and they try to force it harder, which, of course, backfires. This is where the Buddhist concept of clinging, upādāna, gets misread. Clinging isn't the same thing as feeling. Clinging is the grip, the mental habit, of returning to something, replaying it, arguing with it, trying to rewrite how it ended. You can feel a memory fully, even feel it sharply, without gripping it. Think of it like this. Pain is a wave. It rises, peaks, and passes if you let it. Clinging is what happens when you catch the wave and refuse to let it pass, when you keep paddling back out to meet it again and again. The wave itself isn't the problem. The refusal to let it finish is the problem. So letting go was never a promise that it stops hurting. It's a promise that you stop reopening the wound yourself, on repeat, and start letting the natural process, the rising and passing, actually complete. The third misunderstanding is treating letting go as an event, a decision you make on a Tuesday, after which the thing is handled, filed, closed. But nothing about the mind works that way. Thoughts and feelings arise again and again, unpredictably, often years after you thought you were done. A teaching, a memory, an old wound doesn't ask permission before it resurfaces. What the Buddha pointed to wasn't a single act of release, it was a practice of noticing the grip as it happens, and loosening it, over and over, every time it shows up. Not because you failed the first time, because that's simply what a mind does. It's not a broken process, it's the actual process. This reframe matters more than it sounds like it should, because it removes the shame. You're not bad at letting go if the same feeling returns next month. You're just a person with a mind. The practice was never, release it once. The practice is, notice the grip, loosen the grip, as many times as it takes, for as long as it takes. So here's what this actually looks like in a normal week, not a monastery. You feel the old hurt rise, maybe someone says something and it lands wrong. Instead of pushing it down and calling that letting go, You let yourself actually feel it for a moment. You name it, even quietly, in your own head. This is the old hurt again. Then you notice whether you're gripping it, replaying it, building the argument you wish you'd made, rehearsing the version where you win. If you catch yourself doing that, you don't fight it or shame yourself, you just loosen the grip, the way you'd unclench a fist you didn't realize was closed. And you let the wave finish. That's it. That's the whole practice. Not never feel it again, not pretend it's fine, just feel it. Notice the grip, loosen it, repeat for as long as it takes. Here's a simple version of this, something almost everyone has lived through. You see a text from someone who hurt you, maybe an ex, maybe a friend who let you down, and your stomach tightens before you've even read a word. Old advice says, don't let it get to you, delete the message, act like you're over it. But you're not over it. You're just performing over it. The practice looks different. You let the tightness happen for a second. You don't rush past it. You notice, there's the grip. You don't need to answer the message right away, and you don't need to pretend you feel nothing. You just let the wave rise and pass, without grabbing on to argue with it in your head for the next hour. That's the whole difference between suppressing something and actually letting it go. The advice to just let go isn't wrong. It's incomplete. Nobody ever explained that letting go isn't about caring less, it's about gripping less. It doesn't mean the hurt disappears, it means you stop reopening it yourself. And that it's not a one-time decision, it's a practice you return to, without shame, for as long as your mind needs. If there's something you've been trying to let go of for a while now, and it hasn't worked, maybe it was never supposed to be one decision. Maybe it was always meant to be practiced. If this helped you see it differently, stay a while, there's more here for you.